dedicated emulation handhelds, an easy way to bring your entire library of systems with you, and a lot more convenient when you want a game in bed or somewhere else entirely. A big chunk of your time with these is spent setting it up to your liking, whether it's filling it up with all your games or browsing for that perfect front end to make your device look and feel even better when browsing through all of your games. If you've owned one of these handhelds before, you'll know picking the right front end is one of the most essential parts of the entire experience, since it's what you'll mostly be looking at when you're not gaming. Some people might prefer options like Dig, Arc Browser, or maybe Pegasus. But recently, there's been a new contender in the world of emulation front ends, and this one may just be the most ambitious and well-structured project I've seen yet. A while ago, I stumbled on a random Reddit post showcasing a new launcher under the name Daijishō, an Android-based emulation front end designed with the RP2 Plus in mind. I tried it out and I was immediately hooked. The look and feel of it all was exactly what I've been searching for, and I loved it so much that I DM'd the developer requesting my own wishlist of new features, specifically the inclusion of retro achievements within the UI. He watched my video on retro achievements and fell in love with the idea, so much that it was his primary focus for the most part. During that time, I decided to work on my own conceptual ideas and created mockups for the new features I wanted to help with the visual direction of the project. In this video, I'll showcase all the concepts I made and compare it to everything that's been integrated so far within the launcher. Of course, I first started with a dedicated Retro Achievements tab, with games being categorized by system with the option to browse them in either list view or card view. List view is the most organized option with basic information like the game icon, name, and completion status. Card view, on the other hand, is something I've personally been yearning to have in my native achievement browsing, showcasing an all-in-one widget containing a more visual progression with a bit more personality. Each card has the icon taking the spotlight, with its progress in the form of recently unlocked achievements which continue to update the more you unlock. Pressing your system switching bind will flip through your collection based on what system their game originates from, and selecting a game will bring up a detailed view on that game's achievement progress. These come in the form of list view and grid view, with the list view being a detailed summary of each achievement you've unlocked, while grid view allows you to view all your achievements in one unified batch. Hovering over an achievement and selecting it will reveal its description, and the order of each achievement will display based on the order you earned them. Each one will be highlighted with your theme's primary color to indicate whether or not it was earned in hardcore mode. The crazy part is that the developer never actually saw this version of the grid view when I sent him my mockups, which was a lot rougher and less consistent with the launcher's theme. Yet, his looks pretty close. Some major differences can be found in the header and the order of each achievement, which are displayed in a fixed order instead of what you've recently unlocked. If we navigate over to the PSP section of my mockup, you'll notice Blackrock Shooter is highlighted while the rest aren't. This is something I thought would be neat to include for games you've mastered, almost like an extra incentive to go back and complete a game you're close to finishing. Those that aren't mastered will have a blank border, indicating that it can be highlighted if you choose to master the game. Seeing a mastered game can be pretty satisfying, especially when your collection is complete with all of its color. Widgets were one of the big new features to recently come to Daijishō, which is where you'll find a ton of new use cases for shortcuts, and it even makes for a convenient homepage. It's worth mentioning that I'm using the light theme for Daijishō, but you have the option to switch to a dark theme if you prefer that. You'll also be able to choose from a variety of highlight colors, but I'll be using purple for the entirety of this showcase since it's my preferred choice. Here, you'll notice a few widgets that stand out. One of them lets you continue what you were playing last, another lets you pin a game in case you ever want to have it front and center, and you can even add image blocks to personalize your layout even more. I like to include an emote of myself that changes depending on what mood I'm in that day. The biggest addition by far, however, is the Retro Achievements widget, which completely removes the need for a dedicated tab. You can view recent progress, completion hierarchy, and even points earned by your RA friends. Sadly, there's no real way to navigate through your games by system, and there's no such thing as the card view as previously shown in my mockup. On the bright side, with the inclusion of widgets, there's potential to include an achievement card that can take up 2 spaces horizontally, which would allow you to pin any specific game and place it on your homepage. That's wishful thinking on my part, but the idea still stands. While I'm at it, I may as well go through a bunch of bite-sized features I hope to see someday. From here on out, I'll mostly be focusing on what Daijishō could be, and sharing conceptual features that have potential to make it into the final build. Some of these might definitely never see the light of day, but it's fun to throw ideas out there. You never know what might stick. For starters, why not add horizontal and vertical swipe views when browsing through your library in the Platforms tab? Currently, we have a list view that gets the job done fairly well, and a newly added grid view for those who want to see their entire collection of box art at once. A view that lines up your games in a focused row means that it would give each game its own room to shine without the need of a list on screen. You'd be able to focus on each game in the center with a hint of what's next on either side. The vertical view would work a bit similar, but your collection will scroll on the right-hand side and grow into focus when being viewed. Each box art will appear on its own when scrolling through, but after staying on a game for a brief second, you'll have more info appear for that game while the rest go off focus. This will bring in things like the game's background image or gameplay video, as well as basic information, including a button for achievements in case you ever want a quick way to view them. Speaking of easy achievement browsing, currently, viewing achievements for a game is a bit weird. You have to manually enter its detailed screen by holding the A button, then you click on the tiny line of text containing its achievement progress. Instead, I think having a dedicated button for quickly viewing achievements would be pretty convenient. Pressing something like the Y button when hovering over a game could take you straight to its full achievements window. Another feature people bring up a lot is a dedicated platform for Android games. Currently, the only way to boot your Android games is through the Apps tab, which can get a bit cluttered if you have multiple games or emulators mixed in. Having it separated from your overall collection sort of isolates it in a way where you're not as encouraged to boot any of your Android games as you would be with your emulation library. Being able to customize their icons and screenshots goes a long way, and you can keep the Apps tab for miscellaneous apps like YouTube, emulators, other front ends, just about any non-gaming software. Retro achievements wouldn't work on Android games, but thankfully there's Google Play achievements, so your games can still technically have a form of progression similar to all the other platforms. This one's a bit far-fetched though, if I'm being honest. If the Android platform doesn't see the light of day, well, we still have widgets. Having Android games pinned on our widgets page can allow us to have them placed however we want. It would at least be a step up from what we currently have. We'd still benefit from being able to customize our apps and games though, especially for people who want to make this page truly feel like it's theirs. I could have the Mother series, some Mario and Luigi Dream Team, and maybe some Catbird or Demo too. A simple but big request I've had since I first launched Daijishō is a custom sound feature. This would let us change the sound files for the main menu and other things like that. We could add a sound for something like launching a game, for example, or whenever we master a game with all of its achievements. Speaking of launching games, maybe even a custom launch screen whenever we boot a game from a certain system. This way we could have something like the PSP boot screen play when we launch a PSP game. This next idea may be sort of infeasible for Daijishō, but it's a feature I've wanted a while for Emulation Frontends, a friends list. Not just a simple UI showing you random faces, but a fully fledged list that stays updated every second to keep you on the loop of who's online, what they're playing, and even a way to join or invite them for a multiplayer session. You could open it by using a button shortcut, or it could even be its own widget entirely. Having this feature linked to your Retro Achievements account means it would use your information from RA and showcase it through the launcher. This could also apply to their achievements too. You'd be able to see what they've recently earned, or maybe even their current collection altogether. RA messages could also be implemented using this link feature, which would allow you to send and receive messages without ever having to leave the launcher in any way. A notification can pop up even when you're in the middle of a game. These could be a chat message, game invites, friend requests, or achievement alerts. Each of these could even implement a custom sound as previously demonstrated. I don't really expect this feature to show up at all, since this would require a ton of back-end coding and reworking the entire OS in general, but it's fun to throw ambitious ideas out there, much like every other idea I've shown in this video. These concepts don't have to apply to just Daijishō. In fact, I encourage any front-end developer out there to implement these ideas in their launchers or their own custom OS entirely. RetroArch, for example, could potentially have some of these features and stylistic choices if they really wanted to. I mean, at this point, I'd make my own emulation front end if I knew anything about coding, but the most I can really do is visualize the whole thing. If you couldn't tell already, I love Daijishō, and it's my #1 preferred launcher for Android. As it currently stands, the official version of the launcher we have so far is still far better than the majority of options you'll find on Android, even disregarding the extra features I suggested in this video. How do you feel about what was presented here? Feel free to let me know below this video, or you can go ahead and join the official Daijishō Discord server and find me there. Feel free to let the dev know how much you love the launcher, or even include some of your own suggestions if I completely missed one you had in mind. There is also a dedicated section for wallpapers if you want to share your own artwork for others to use on their platform setup. I've contributed an entire modified wallpaper pack which you can install within the app if you want your platforms tab to look like mine. Anyway, thank you all for watching and sticking through till the end. This is UsagiShade, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care.